Hello and welcome. Look, the GCSE English Language Paper 1, it can feel like this huge, intimidating mountain to climb. But what if I told you it's not a mystery? What if it's more like a puzzle, or even a code that we can crack together? Well, that is exactly what we're going to do today, so let's get right into it.
It's the ultimate question, right? How do you actually get those top marks? I'll tell you a secret. It's got nothing to do with magic or being able to read the examiner's mind. Nope, it's about knowing exactly what they're looking for. And in this explainer, we are going to pull back that curtain and show you the examiner's actual blueprint.
And here's our game plan. First up, we'll decode the paper itself. Then, we're going to master the reading section, breaking it down question by question. After that, we'll tackle creative writing. And to finish it off, I'm going to give you a super handy toolkit to take with you into the exam.
Okay, let's kick things off with the absolute fundamentals. I mean, you wouldn't play a football match without knowing the rules, would you? And this exam is exactly the same. Understanding its structure is your first step to absolutely acing it.
So the paper is split perfectly down the middle, like a game of two halves. You've got Section A, which is all about reading and analysis, that's 40 marks. Then you have Section B, where you get to be the creative one, also for 40 marks. But notice the timings. You get a whole hour for the reading, but only 45 minutes for the writing. That tells you that one single writing question is a big deal.
Now this slide, this is the real secret code. These are the assessment objectives, or AOs. Every single mark you get comes from one of these. AO1 is just what does the text say? Simple. AO2 is how does the writer say it? AO4 is all about your opinion. And then when you're writing, AO5 is basically how good is your story? And AO6 is all about your spag, your spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Know these, and you know the game. All right, let's dive into Section A, the reading section. We're going to walk through these questions one by one, and I'll give you a clear, simple strategy for every single one of them. First up, Question 1. Think of this as your warm-up. It's designed to be a quick, easy win. 4 marks, just for finding 4 specific facts in the first few lines of the text. Seriously, don't overthink it. Find them, write them down, and move on. Easy points.
Okay, now things get a little more interesting. Question 2 is your first big analysis question. This is all about AO2, how the writer uses language. You've got to zoom in on specific words, phrases, and literary techniques, but here's the key. You have to explain the effect they have. Why did the writer choose that word?
Just look at this example. Anyone can say, the writer uses a simile. But to get the top marks, you've got to dig deeper. What's the effect of words like gigantic and malformed? And why compare the tree's knuckles to a hand? What does that comparison actually make you, the reader, think and feel? That's where the real analysis happens.
And this table shows you exactly how to climb the ladder. A level 2, kind of mid-grade answer, just attempts to comment on the effect, but a level 3, top-grade answer, it explains clearly the effect. It's the difference between saying a simile is good for imagery and explaining that it creates a mysterious presence. It's all about the detail in your explanation.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. See how this answer connects the evidence, the simile, directly to a sharp interpretation? It talks about how the tree commands the garden and creates a mysterious presence. Boom, that's a top-tier analysis right there. Okay, for question 3, it's time to zoom out. We're not looking at tiny details anymore, we're looking at the big picture. How does the text start? Where does the focus shift in the middle? How does it all wrap up at the end? You're basically a film director, analyzing the entire sequence of shots. And hey, guess what? Just like with question 2, the mark scheme shows us the path. It's not enough to just say the writer shifts focus. To get those top marks, you have to explain the effect of that shift. You have to ask yourself, why did the writer start here and end there? What journey does that choice take me on as a reader?
Welcome, my friends, to the final boss of the reading section. Question 4. It's worth a whopping 20 marks. They give you a statement from a fictional student, and your job is to argue your case. How much do you agree with it? You need to build your argument using evidence from the text to prove your point.
So, how do you get into that top band, that level 4? Well, your evaluation has to be perceptive and critical. What does that actually mean? It means you're not just agreeing or disagreeing, you're exploring the gray areas, the subtleties. You're spotting the clever things the writer is doing and building a really convincing, detailed argument that goes way beyond the obvious.
Just look at how this top-tier answer pulls it off. It builds his case by picking up on subtle clues, like that Cinderella simile. Then it evaluates the effect, arguing that this clue signals to the reader that we should not trust what Rosie is seeing. Now that is a perceptive critical evaluation. Phew, we've made it through the reading gauntlet. Now it's your turn to shine. Section B is your chance to show off your own writing skills. And with 40 marks up for grabs, this is a massive opportunity to score big.
You'll get a choice of 2 tasks. One will be descriptive, asking you to describe something, and the other will be narrative, asking you to write a story. They're usually connected to a picture they give you. Pick the one that sparks your imagination, and remember, this one single question is worth half the marks for the entire paper.
So how do you get all 40 of those marks? Well, it's broken into 2. AO5 is about your ideas, your creativity, your structure. That's worth a huge 24 marks. Then AO6 is your technical accuracy, your spelling, punctuation, and grammar. That's worth the other 16. So you can see even the most amazing story can't get top marks if it's full of mistakes.
And here it is, the examiner's own checklist for a top band answer. They are looking for writing that is convincing and compelling. They want to see you use an extensive vocabulary and show conscious crafting of your sentences. It's not just about what you say, it's about how skillfully you say it.
Right, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's pull all of this together into a final, simple toolkit that you can take with you on exam day to really smash it.
Here we go. 4 simple steps. 1. Annotate that text as you read. 2. Watch the clock like a hawk. Timing is everything. 3. Know your AOs. Ask yourself, what skill is this question really testing? And 4. Please, please, please leave 5 minutes to proofread your creative writing. Those 16 marks for accuracy are just too important to lose.
And that's really the main takeaway here. Success in this exam isn't magic. It's not about luck. It is about method. It's about understanding the system, knowing the rules of the game, and applying the right strategies. And now, you have the examiner's blueprint.
So there you have it. The code has been cracked. This exam isn't a test of how clever you are. It's a test of whether you can use the right method on the day. You now have that method. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it? Good luck.